This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. I am so glad you decided to join me today on Reporter Room. We have so much new information to get into. Let's get started. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow Daybell, and this secret society. We're going to talk about a secret combination, and in the accounts of the Book of Mormon, because remember, Lori Vallow was LDS. It's a term that describes a, quote, malignant secret society of people bound together by oaths to carry out the evil purposes of the group. Now, secret combinations were first discussed in the Book of Mormon, which was published by Joseph Smith back in 1830. According to the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible, Cain had entered, you remember the story of Cain and Abel? Cain had entered a secret combination with Satan. Now, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell both believed that the end of times were coming and that they needed to prepare for the second coming of Christ. They were definitely doomsday preppers, and they believed in these secret combinations. So secret combinations may be brotherhoods, groups, societies, or governments, and they operate in secrecy to perform evil acts for the purpose of gaining power over the minds and actions of people. And to be clear, this is not a normal belief of Mormonism. This is an extremist view. They also believe that the devil proclaims, initiates, and sustains these combinations and their conspiratorial practices. So Chad had a religious-focused podcast where Lori Vallow Daybell also went on air with him, and the two of them were holding gatherings of people, and they shared these bizarre beliefs. 48 Hours reported that Lori believed that she was chosen to lead the 144,000 people who would survive the end of times. Charles, her husband, who was shot by Lori's creepy brother, if you haven't seen that video, you'll want to watch that one next. He told law enforcement that Lori believed she was a, quote, resurrected being, a god. During Lori's trial, we heard a lot about Lori's belief in zombies, and these were people that Lori and Chad believe had evil spirits take over their bodies, as well as past lives as biblical figures. Text messages between Lori and Chad included a number of religious elements, including their use of the names, quote, James and Elena. Now, these names were what Lori and Chad believed they had been in a past life, during which they had also been married. Not what the typical Mormon church teaches. This is really out there. It's wackadoodle-doo. Now get this. We know that Tammy Daybell was done away with, but did you know that just prior to her being done away with, a casting was performed? Now, a casting is when they remove an evil spirit from a person, and this is also part of Lori and Chad's belief system. Now, Zuluma Pastines conducted a casting on Tammy Daybell. Now, who was Zuluma? Zuluma was married to Lori's creepy brother, Alex Cox. And on October 9th, 2019, just after the casting was completed, a masked gunman fired at Tammy Daybell with what she believed was a paint gun near the front of her home that she shared with Chad Daybell. Now, law enforcement believed that Lori's creepy brother Alex was the masked gunman. And Tammy Daybell reported the incident to the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. Now, they thought it was a prank by children, and law enforcement questioned neighbors around Chad and Tammy's house, but nobody reported owning a paintball gun. So, Idaho Attorney General Investigator Nicholas Edwards reported that a communication device owned by Lori's creepy brother Alex was detected near Chad and Tammy's house at the time of the threat. Attorney General Investigator Edwards also noted that numerous text messages and cell phone calls between Lori, Chad, and creepy brother Alex had been occurring both before and after the attempted shooting of Tammy Daybell. So I believe this was their first attempt to do away with her. He was lounging in Hawaii to make sure that she had an alibi. And the FBI traced creepy brother Alex to Sportsman Warehouse in Idaho Falls on the day Tammy Daybell was shot at. That day, he had also researched Grendel ARs for their efficiency at hitting the target from 100 to 300 feet. Wow. Let's listen to the 911 call made by Chad Daybell when he found Tammy, supposedly, had passed away by natural causes.
We're at 202 North, 1900 East. What's going on? We just found my mom. She's on the frozen for she's stiff and I don't know. Are you in Madison County or Fremont County? I'm Chad, the husband. She's clearly dead. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, are you in Rexford or is your address from Rexford address that you're in Fremont County? Mile past. Okay.
He says, I'm Chad, the husband. And I think the husband is a way for him to distance himself. I think it's distancing language. He didn't say her husband. He says, I'm Chad, the husband. She's clearly dead. The other thing I found that was so bizarre is he says that she's frozen. So the call was initially placed by Tammy and Chad's son. He said that he had found his mom, quote, on the ground frozen. This is so bizarre. Now, maybe she was stiff, maybe rigor mortis had kicked in. So Chad was quick to tell law enforcement that Tammy had woke up coughing and vomiting at midnight that night, and he claimed she partially fell off the mattress with her torso and head on the ground around 5:45 a.m. Chad claims he had moved Tammy back onto the bed after she fell off. So Lori's creepy brother Alex, who died in December of 2019, supposedly of natural causes, he is the one that did away with Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, in July of that year, shortly before Tylee and JJ disappeared and were also done away with. Remember, Alex claimed self-defense and the police did not pursue the case at the time. If you didn't see my video on that, I will link it for you in the description below. So on the night of October 18th of 2019, Investigator Edwards also picked up another flurry of text messages between Lori, Chad, Zuluma Pastenes, who was married to creepy brother Alex, and creepy brother Alex. And he said, quote, Alex had an electronic device at the LDS church 2 miles away from the Daybell home. The following morning, Chad reported that Tammy Daybell had passed away, and once again, a flurry of messages was sent out to various parties. Prosecutor Linda Blake told the court that Chad and Lori exchanged romantic text messages to each other the day after Tammy passed. Remember, Chad had been married to Tammy for 30 years. So the day after, he's already sharing romantic messages with Lori. And Lori said in her messages, I feel lovesick and I can't sleep without you. And Chad said, I know exactly how you feel. I'm feeling sad, but not for the reason everyone thinks. And get this, Chad stopped by the school district offices where Tammy worked just 2 days after she passed to ask about her life insurance. So the same day as Tammy's funeral, which was October 22nd, 2019, what's Lori doing that day? She's busy looking up wedding dresses online. Boy, this reminds me of Nicole Kessinger in the Chris Watts case. So Angela Yancey, who worked in payroll and benefits, testified that Chad visited her on Monday, October 21st of 2019, one day before the funeral, to talk about Tammy's life insurance. And she said it was unusual for a spouse to come in that quickly. I bet it's unusual. And she said that they couldn't submit a claim because they didn't have the death certificate, and that Chad said, that's okay, I already ordered 8 of them. And he wrote on the form that Tammy had passed away in her sleep, which we now know is not true. So this school administrator said that Tammy had changed her life insurance policy just 6 weeks earlier on September 8th, choosing the policy with the highest payout after she went to full-time employment. So isn't that convenient? On November 21st of 2019, more than 2 weeks after he married Lori, Chad asked how hard it would be to add Lori to the policy if he got married. He asked this of his insurance company. Oh my gosh, how would you like to be this guy's wife? And she answered that it would have to be 60 days wedding. So he could add Lori, but only if he did it within 60 days of when they first got married. But he didn't do that. Instead, he came in to try to get coverage on Lori, but it wasn't until November 5th, which was past the 60 days. At this point, Lori's in jail. And Chad told her that Lori was incarcerated and he was really worried something was going to happen to her. So of course, why not profit off of it? So prosecutors in the Lori case revealed long-awaited results of Tammy's autopsy. And her death was determined to be asphyxiation. In light of what we learned of what happened to JJ and to Tylee, it's not hard to believe that something similar happened to Tammy. What surprised you the most about today's video? Thank you so much for watching. I am so grateful to each and every one of you for subscribing to Reporter Room, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.